Hello class, I wanted to do a video a little bit earlier than my normal midweek check-in. So happy Wednesday. And what I'm going to cover today has to do with our reading response unit, just to make sure everybody feels comfortable with this. So for your virtual attendance assignment this week, we are going to do an online discussion of the short story, The Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin. And I wanted to cover kind of quickly the use of Padlet in order to do that. I know you used Flip last week, so we're going to try Padlet, which is another platform for doing online discussions. So you're going to go ahead, in order to get to your Padlet link, we're going to come down here to this practice reading response. And before I pull up the Padlet, I wanted to just remind you not to get too worked up about this. This is truly a practice reading response. I am going to be very generous in how I grade. I want you all to really feel confident in the way you approach these short stories, and the only way to do that is to just start. And I don't want you to feel like there's something like you have wrong answers. You want to think about this story, think about what you think the overall theme is. As you go through those questions in that worksheet on The Story of an Hour, you should really start to feel a little bit more confident in the story. The questions ask you some very specific questions, so let's start there. Let's take a look at the worksheet. So let me open it up. So your worksheet is broken down into 3 sections. The first section asks you to go through the story and make sure you really understand what's going on a very, in a very surface level. Who are the characters? What's the timeline of the story? The story unfolds over the period of an hour, just like the title indicates it's going to. What happens to the main character? What do we know about Mrs. Mallard and why she dies at the end? What kind of stuff is going on? So these comprehension questions, these first 7, will ask you to kind of pick through the story. The second section asks you to begin to think thematically. This is a more big picture. Think about this idea of what Mrs. Mallard believes being free is. So ask yourself questions about whether she died of happiness, or whether it was because she was free and can no longer live free with her husband alive. So you want to go through and really start to ask yourself what the story means. And then finally, there are 5 overall questions that have you come back and try to make some sense out of the story. All right? So once you get these questions answered, this is for you to help you understand the story. You want to come and do your online discussion. This is trying to mimic what would happen in an in-class discussion. In my in-class section, we work in groups to discuss. So this is your link to Padlet. This is where all your work is going to happen. This link down here, this is not for you to submit anything. This is where I will be submitting your grades based on this rubric, which I'll cover in a second. So you're going to do all your work here at this Padlet link. So we're going to click into that. Remember, you want to make sure that you make an account that I know who you are when you are writing your response. because you're going to get graded on this. So you've got 4 discussion topics, plus you have an overall question over here. And so let me go ahead and click over. It doesn't want to move. Here we go. So then you've got an overall reaction. So for your online discussion that you're going to be graded on, you're going to respond to each one of these questions. Then you're going to come back and you're going to respond to at least one classmate's response. So when you go to post your response, you're going to hit an arrow, the plus. You're going to write your response and then you're going to publish it. So then you'll come to topic 3. You're going to hit a plus, you're going to write your response to the question, which is right here, and then you're going to publish it. Same thing. And then finally for the overall reaction. When you are ready to respond to your classmates, you're going to add comment here below. All right? So you've got 4 discussion topics that you should be able to do a pretty good job answering if you've gone ahead and completed that worksheet. These come from the worksheet. They are questions that I wrote based on the worksheet. All right, so then if you want to look at the online discussion rubric, you can see how I'm going to be grading for your Padlet discussion. So your initial response to each, you have 4 responses to do. Each one is worth 15 points. Your above standard posting, you can read the description. Your below standard posting, you can read the description. So you're going to have 4 initial postings and 4 replies. Each reply is worth 10 points. So your initial postings are 60% of your grade, and your replies are worth 40% of your grade. Then by the end of the week, you're going to go ahead and write your reading response, which will be due on Sunday. This will be similar to what you did with the Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening, although it will be in written format. All right? I also have for you to help you, I have some sample reading responses from students in the past. You can go ahead and read through those. Remember, make sure that you are looking at these literary element cheat sheets so that you are, you know the language on how to discuss literature. All right? Any questions, send me an email.